Hello. Hi everyone, I'm Carmen Collins. I'm the social media lead for Cisco's talent brand team. If you're watching on Facebook, hello Facebook land. If you're watching on another channel, a replay, it's nice to see you. I am here doing my next episode of Coastal Social live from Miami Beach, which is in the background. I'm staying at the Eden Rock Hotel in Miami Beach, and it's a beautiful hotel. We have this gorgeous view from our room, so it's the perfect backdrop for the newest episode of Coastal Social. Why do I call it Coastal Social? Well, I live in Florida. I mean, can you see why? And I also like talking about social media. So today's Coastal is coming to you from Miami Beach, and today's Social is coming to you thanks to the PR News Digital and Social Media Conference here in Miami Beach. I was lucky enough to get asked to speak about Snapchat, so I thought I would give you an abbreviated version of what I talked about today with our Snapchat program. And that is, the question, is Snapchat dead? I can't tell you how many blog posts I see, how many newsletter articles I see. Snapchat is dead. Instagram stories killed Snapchat. I have a feeling that the rumors of Snapchat's death are greatly exaggerated, and here's why. One of the first things I showed the audience today is a graph of how many users in millions the different social media channels have. And I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that Facebook is the 100-pound gorilla in the room. They of course have the most followers, but Snapchat still has a whopping 255 million users. I don't know that that's anything to sneeze at, and I don't know that's a reason to declare a channel dead, but an interesting fact that LinkedIn has 106, I believe that's the number, 106 million followers, or million users, excuse me. And as someone who works for a talent brand team, am I going to ignore LinkedIn because it doesn't have as many daily users as Facebook or Instagram? Absolutely not, because that's where my audience is. That's where people are networking with their professional network and their colleagues, and this is also where they're looking for opportunities. So if I'm selling this idea of Cisco as a great place to work and opportunities to work at Cisco, of course I'm going to be on LinkedIn. But I'm not going to abandon Facebook or Instagram or the other channels. Each channel is a part of a complete strategy. There's not, well, you're on this channel or you're on this channel. It's how are you reaching the audience that you need to reach. The second graph that I showed people is how many people between the ages of 18 and 24 use Snapchat. And that number is overwhelmingly in pro of Snapchat. The majority of 18 to 24 year olds are, well, actually I don't know if I can say that. I don't think it's the majority of 18 to 24 year olds, but Snapchat certainly leads the way in the number of users in that age demographic. So Gen Z is clearly on Snapchat as a talent brand, trying to recruit interns, trying to recruit early in career talent. Snapchat makes perfect sense for my business. The next graph that I showed was a graph of how many teenagers aged 12 to 17 are on Snapchat. And the result is overwhelmingly that people in this age group are on Snapchat. And the difference between how many people are on Snapchat and how many people are on Instagram in that particular age category is a huge difference. The number of people on Snapchat is like 15%. The number of people on Instagram in that category is something like 4.5%. There's a very big difference if you're a teenager. So if you're H&M, for example, and you're trying to reach the teenage market, absolutely you're going to want to be on Snapchat. Now, one of the things that I brought up today is that you need to start with your goals when you're considering what social media channels to add to your portfolio. What is in your strategy? If you're trying to reach this age demographic, Snapchat's for you. If you're not, if your demographic is on Facebook, let's say maybe you're in a different country that hasn't adapted Snapchat yet, well then yes, you're going to want to focus on Facebook. So it's important to look at your goals first so you can see where your audience is, what you want them to do, and what you're asking them to do. Maybe it's download an app, or in our case, go to a career site, so that you know what channels you can reach that audience on. Another thing that I talked about today, which oddly enough got the most retweets, is that Snapchat, to be Snapchatty, to create content that works on Snapchat, you have to embrace a little bit of whimsy. Snapchat is not your traditional channel. It's not a place for glossy marketing. People don't want to see your produced images with your text overlays on Snapchat uploaded into the platform. They want to see people using Snapchat within Snapchat, creating content and using the lenses and the drawing tools and that sort of thing, so that they know that they're getting the raw, authentic Snapchat content. So if your brand is not a brand, I'm sure you can hear the helicopter in the background. Miami Beach is happening, y'all. If you're a brand who cannot embrace whimsy, let's say you're in the banking industry or the healthcare industry, something highly regulated, then Snapchat is probably not going to be a part of your strategy. And then the last thing I want to point out is you're always going to see, in addition to the blog posts and the newsletter articles that say Snapchat is dead, you're going to see the story Instagram versus Snapchat, which is better, and you're going to see them with the big boxing glove, and you're going to see the Instagram logo versus the ghost. And I think the question is invalid. I think the question again goes back to your goals. Should you be on Instagram stories or should you be on Snapchat? Maybe the answer is just yes. You should be on both of them for different reasons to create different kinds of content. So that was the takeaway from what I spoke about today and the things that seem to resonate with people, and I wanted to share that with you on my latest episode of Coastal Social in the beautiful Miami Beach area from the Eden Rock Hotel. And just to give you a couple of other takeaways from today's conference, one of the things that I loved was this discussion about hashtags, that your hashtags should be based on what your audience is using. So very similar to what I just said with Snapchat. If you set your goals and you set your strategy, it makes sense to go where your audience is. That was a big hit with the users today. We had a lot of conversation about Facebook Live. Should you be on Facebook Live? We Are Cisco is on Facebook Live because, again, our audience is there. And then one of the best things that I saw today was a quote from someone who's in the insurance industry, and it's the quote of the day. It says that the internet is filled with a lot of drunk people talking to their pancakes. And I love that analogy because in many, many cases, again, go back to your goals. Don't worry about the trolls. Don't worry about doing something wrong. Go back to your goals, follow your strategy, and you will see success. So that is it, because my arm is getting tired of holding up my camera and I want to get out to the beach. I've had a long day at the conference. It was a great day, but now I'm going to go enjoy a little bit of Miami Beach, maybe head down to South Beach. And that's it for this episode of Coastal Social. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye.